part of streaming. Hello, everybody. I'm just, I'm kind of running behind schedule, but let's see if I can get everything worked out. Just give me a second, everybody. Yeah, I know. I'm late Jeff. I'm sorry. Hey, Breezy, how are you doing tonight, sir? For some reason or another, it ain't showing that I'm going over to the YouTube side. Okay, there it is. I've been, I had, I had company pop up right at the last minute, so I mean, I'm sorry about it being a little bit late, but but it's just the way life works sometimes. So, all right, that's my first victim. Friend, sir. How you doing, Mr. Jeff? Oh, yeah, there it
You
is.
said it right the first time. I heard that.
Yeah, I had company pop up right at the last second, so I'm sorry I'm a little bit late, but I mean, he's the guy I'm probably gonna try to get whenever I get it sanded down and all that stuff. He's gonna probably be the one that paints my pickup truck out there. So
Hey, Breezy.
how you doing, Breezy and Rail? How are you doing? Yeah, and so how was your week there, Mister Jeff?
Oh, let me see here. I had to wake up early every day and go and get my thing done every day.
Hey, Clear. Yeah, hey Wayne. Yeah, I was well last Sunday night after Ed stream. I ended up at the hospital myself.
Oh
So
no, what'd you do?
yeah, I had uh I went down to the I went in there to use the bathroom and I had to my my pee looked like blood. I was peeing blood.
Oh, that ain't good.
I mean I was uh trying to so I ended up spending about 4 hours in the emergency room, and they told me I had a serious uh, kidney infection.
Oh.
So I've been I've been sitting around most of the week. I mean, I in pain and all that stuff, and I mean, I've got bottle full of antibiotics, and my regular doctor she sent me another type of antibiotics to put after I take these. So, but no, it wasn't fun, Narelle. I thought I had kidney stones, but they said no, it wasn't.
Oh God, no! Don't even say that.
They said it wasn't kidney stones, but it was a bad kidney infection. They said UTI slash kidney infection I mean, they had to put a bottle of IV in me before I could even pee, but because I had just peed right before I left the house, and it was just a mess. But at least they let me out. They let me out. I was supposed to go the next morning and get a X-ray for for my gallbladder, but I was just too sick to go to the. Hey, Jungle Bob, how are you doing, sir? I was too sick to even go down there and get the test run for a gallbladder infection. So, but that's just a water under the bridge, I guess. I mean, I'm feeling a little bit better now. So, but how are you doing, Jeff? I mean, did you get most of your stuff cleared up?
Yeah, they're working on it. I got another 3 weeks, I guess, on this thing.
Wow. Holy cow. But
what is he on?
yeah.
I couldn't even tell you the name of it.
Yeah.
Oh, is it medicine?
Yeah.
All I know is it comes in 2 packs and they got to sit there and mix it together before they start it.
Well, hopefully everything works out good for you, Jeff. I mean, like I said yesterday, first day I felt like doing anything. I was gonna go to Mater Stream Wednesday, but I couldn't make it because I was just in so much pain. So, but I have, but the title of this thing is I need some advice, and since we got some, hey Sarah,
Hey, Sarah.
yeah, yeah, it's did I even post this to the top of the page? But yeah. But should I go back to Sunday nights or should I stay on Friday nights because I don't
Let's
see
ask this guy here. This strange person who is this V-twin guy?
I don't know. I mean he's a stranger. I ain't seen him in a while. So I mean,
I'm guessing obviously it's not the right person.
yeah, well, we'll see when he finally. I know he comes up with that XSplit cam and all that stuff. So I imagine it is him. So
Who is it?
Mark,
I'm getting it together. Just give me a minute here. Just relax. It's been a while.
I've watched enough of his videos.
I hope you don't drive the truck this slow.
Ow.
Well, it is what it is,
How are you doing, Mark?
Just working like crazy.
Well,
Don't lie.
Yep. Somebody's got to since Bo wrecked the Kenworth.
Yeah. Well,
and you're sitting there laughing about that?
Yeah.
Well,
I would have killed him. He'd been dead.
Well,
don't even tell me where you are, Bo, because when I find you, there ain't gonna be nothing left of you.
Well,
Georgia.
I seen the video. It wasn't Bo's fault.
No.
I mean, so so in other words, he can. I mean, this is one time I can't pick on Bo about wrecking the Kenworth because I mean he did have a had that dash cam in his truck, so I seen that part of it. So
yep.
I mean, I'm proud of the kid. At least he's got that daggum dash cam. And if anybody drives a truck, I would definitely recommend anybody that drives a semi truck to have a dash cam nowadays.
Oh
That
yeah.
BS about them trying to watch what you were doing and all that stuff, and camera facing inward. I wouldn't like that stuff, but.
No.
But I mean, as far as outward facing cameras, it's got to help a bunch as far as that stuff goes when it gets, if it goes to court or whatever else happens. I mean,
Yep. Once the camera was downloaded, the cop said, "Okay, I don't need to see nothing else."
that's what I'm saying. So like I said, it was pretty clear that he didn't have it wasn't he did not do nothing wrong on that one. So
No.
I mean,
Everybody in the chat, how you doing? Breezy.
yeah,
So what's everybody been up to?
Busy.
Yeah.
Jeff, you're not busy. Come on now. Tell the truth.
No, me and Jeff's been trying to stay out of the hospital, but
What?
yeah, Jeff was in the hospital for a week, and then I turned around and I ended up last Sunday night at the daggone emergency room myself. So
What the heck are y'all doing?
I
I'm
don't.
falling apart.
I'm not gonna do this.
Y'all gonna have to quit drinking that same water or something.
I'm just getting. I guess old age is getting me or something here, but
Looks to me like a dog's getting you.
yeah,
She's for free if anybody wants her.
the world's went to the dogs. So I mean, even look at her. She even looks like she's smoking a cigarette. So
Yeah,
I about can't afford that backer habit. I mean,
it's been one of them weeks for me. The German Shepherd destroyed my house.
Oh man.
No, she didn't.
Yeah, the wife didn't put her in the kennel.
Those dogs will destroy.
And she went to work, come home, and I bought her some of them hickory rocking chairs. And that German Shepherd shredded those hickory. And needless to say, the wife got a brand new couch and everything too.
Oh my God.
Well, this
I think Remy was set up. I think she was set up on that deal.
I think Remy just got mad that Mom went to work and didn't put her away, and she had free roam of the house. I don't think Mom would let her have free roam. Nobody's home.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I got a pen sitting here that was gonna start putting her in tonight. But
you can't put her in at night. She'd howl.
But I mean, it's been sitting here still in the box. But
well, if you put it together, and if you're going to start caging her, put her in your bedroom, or she will howl all night long. Put her in your bedroom.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, I got a cage sitting here, but because I mean, at first she would not potty train. But
that's where the crate comes in handy, because that will potty train her, because she's not going to go there.
Hey, Brandon, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Holy cow, you see Mark? Oh, how you doing, Brandon? No, I haven't been around. I've been pretty busy.
Yeah, but we finally, we'd ordered it offline, so it finally got in here a couple of days ago, and it's sitting here. I mean, my back and my kidneys and all that were giving me a fit, so it's still sitting here. I mean, it's one of those collapsible kind. I mean, it's wire, but it's one of those that'll fall down to basically nothing.
It'll take a minute.
Yeah,
I mean, it wouldn't take much, but a few minutes to put it together. But I mean, but now after I brought that in, she's actually started going to the door and sitting there waiting for us to go outside now. So
yeah, that's the way I had to break Remy. I went and got one of them big cages from oh shoot.
All right, I'm just popping in to say hi to everybody, especially Mark, because I have not seen him in forever. There has been quite a few things going on today, and someone's in chat that I cannot deal with. So y'all guys have fun. If you want to know what's going on, email Mater's Workshop and we'll get together. We'll set up a private stream. Bye, guys.
All All right. Good night, Chris. Good. I'm
I guess it's me that she has a problem with. I have no idea why.
no. Well,
Because I never said anything to them or did anything to them.
well, are you setting all them daggum fires in Canada? That's what we need to know.
No. I'm trying to fight those fires.
Huh?
I'm trying to fight those fires.
I mean, I looked at the radar and they showed the radar. It's finally got to the East Coast and
That's
cool deal,
horrifying.
Brandon. But
Well, hey, y'all may have your differences and stuff, but y'all need to take it to a stream instead of this stream because it has nothing to do with this stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because it take us somewhere else because I ain't.
yeah. That's
I
why.
I only came in just to say hi and just to give ATV. I think to this time slot is a good time slot because there's no one else streaming at this time slot.
That's fine.
It's a great this is an ideal time slot for you.
I'll deal with that.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of
We've had this happen before.
we've
and
had this, but right now, I mean, what the advice I needed was since I used to have it my stream on Sunday nights right behind Ed, and should I go back to that stream? I mean, since it seems like everybody is kind of busy on Friday nights, should I go back to Sunday nights at 8:30, like?
Honestly, yeah, I'd say because that's a good time because there's a peak audience on that time, and if you're coming on at the end of Ed's, you're going to pick up off of Ed's stream. That to me makes perfectly good sense. Like I would say do it. Like it's a good time when people are looking for the unwind and stuff like that. So I'd say that's a really good idea.
Well, I mean that's the time slot I used to have, and was right after Ed went offline. I mean, and that would give him an hour plus, a few minutes if he runs over or whatever else. And that's kind of what.
All you can do is just try it, Daryl, and see where your best viewing is.
Yeah.
For people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just. It's not. I mean, I'm not trying to get monetized or anything else, but I would like to kind of hold it level to in case one day I did need to get monetized or something other else. But
you could even take my time slot on Saturday night.
Well, I mean, somebody will work around your time slot, make sure that you ain't coming on and all that stuff, and then somebody will pop up with a stream. But
right.
I mean, I was just that was kind of what my curiosity was kind of would I mean just like tonight. Okay, I'm running a little bit late because I was out in the shop and I was planning on actually doing this stream in the shop, but I had a neighbor stop by, a real good friend of mine, and all this stuff, and so I was running about 5 to 7 minutes late, and that Jeff was getting on me because I was running a little bit late.
Hey, anyway, let's get back to that. Jeff, what's going on with you? What happened with you, buddy?
Oh, we gotta get filled up every day at one of these things.
Oh, what the heck? What happened there?
We got kind of a blood infection going. Huh?
Oh.
We had a blood infection going.
Is it from your foot?
And somebody wouldn't go to the doctor until finally he couldn't get up at all.
I wonder who that would have been.
You gotta start taking care of yourself there, Jeff. We love you. Like I tell you, YouTube, and that would not be the same without seeing your face at least twice a week or once a week. Like, I barely know you, but that's the thing is just start taking care of yourself, buddy. I need you.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
I love him. I need him. I need somebody to mess with.
I mean, who would not miss Santa Claus? I mean, everybody would miss Santa Claus.
Well, there's three of us on here that could play Santa Claus.
Yep. He's a good guy. He supports everybody. That's one thing I can say about Jeff. And he keeps everybody on time, because whenever it's your time, all of a sudden, blink, Jeff's gone.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. So, I mean,
you got it figured out.
Well, it looks like he's got a fish. What is that? Fish clock up above you, or a truck clock there, Jeff?
It's the international.
No, that's the Power King clock.
Oh, okay. Power Creek clock. Okay.
Yep. Ed's probably going to be coming in late tonight.
Yeah.
Because he just got here just a little bit ago.
Okay, well, I mean,
the watchdogs are right up there.
Yeah, I mean, and Ed gets a little bit sleepy and tired on Friday night. So I mean,
well, he's in the
but I mean, but like I said, it's
so I had a small project this week.
What kind of project did you do there, Jeff?
Well, let's see. Got the tour wheel horse out there. That something's messed up with the carburetor. It doesn't really hold gas. It likes to let the gas run right through and fill up the motor. But when I got it, the carburetor's already off. And none of the screws are there. It's got that's got 38-inch deck. It doesn't have the chute on one side, so the blade's all open. I look at that, it's like, yeah, that's brilliant. So I messed with it. I took the carburetor. I put it through the old Sonic thing twice, put it together, put it on. I didn't bolt it to the engine. I just turned on the gas for a minute. It's like nothing's happening. I said, well, I guess it works. I bolted it back to the engine, turned the gas on, walked away, come back about 3 minutes later. Now the gas has been down exhaust. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? So I took it back off and I looked at it. I said, well, it's got to be, since it's in a motor, it's a piece of shit plastic float. Maybe it's got pinhole or something. It's
hey, how you
something
doing, Patrick?
it ain't stopping the gas.
Hey, Patrick.
You're not late, Patrick?
Yeah, it's I was late myself, Patrick, so you're not late at all. But that's,
and the bummer is it's one of them stupid Walbro carburetors that you can't get. I got to buy some piece of shit off Amazon.
Yeah, it's
what is it? A 14 horse, Jeff?
That one was 12, I believe.
It'd still be the same thing, 1-inch Ventura carburetor. I have to look. I might have one out there in the shop. I got a couple brand new ones laying somewhere.
Cool deal. Yeah, I mean, I
had a picture here. I don't know if I still got it.
It's a Walbro, though?
Let's see. I'm going to say, huh?
Is it a Walbro?
Nope, that's gone. Oh, well. Yeah, it's a Walbro LMT.
Yep, it'll be a 1-inch.
Yeah. I mean, I actually got.
Yeah, I had the John Deere. They bought the John Deere.
Yeah.
Huh?
They're all universal. Kohler's Kohler.
Yeah. And like I was saying last week, most of your diesels are nowadays are Yanmars on the smaller tractors. So I mean, so that's it's just different. It's just, I mean, like my 4210 out here, it's got a Yanmar in it. I mean, my neighbor down the road's got an actual Yanmar tractor. Okay, most of the parts are like they would actually fit off of that John Deere, but I do have to. I do something to do with the filtering system on them. I do have to get John Deere filters just like you would with a Caterpillar engine. I mean, I don't know what that is, but I mean, Mark,
That's like little John Deere tractor come down too.
Mark, you know what I'm talking about.
John Deere's got their own blades.
Yeah. And I mean, and the Caterpillar, if you put aftermarket filters on a Caterpillar, it will not run worth a crap. So I mean,
not only that, but if a Caterpillar is under warranty, it will void the warranty on the motor.
Yeah, but I mean, and do you know that I see where Caterpillar is actually gone back to not remanning motors, but they've also gone to buy putting new Caterpillars out, and say you blow the engine in a Detroit or something other else, they sell you a kit that will fit in that Detroit or whatever else.
Yes.
There's only one catch to that new thing that Cat's doing with the old new engines is that your vehicle must meet the emission standards of the engine, and the engine must meet the emission standards of the vehicle. They will not sell you, and so if you have a vehicle that's running an engine that has emission standards above the Cat's, they will not sell you the Cat engine to install on that vehicle because the federal government will fine them for doing that. So if you have an old Cat truck or an older diesel, like if you have an old 871, you want to move up to a 3405, you can do that because the emission standards are lower than that one. But if the emission standards of your engine is lower, but I think it's a smart move by Cat bringing out the new old, because they got lots of casting in stock. They just have to assemble it, but they're also remanning a lot of the engines and pulling out new old stock. And I think it's just a smart way to go. And they are working on adapting emission systems to their engines to be used in off-road application and also light truck application. So, but they're big smart move to bring more revenue in for them.
To stay with the older Cats, you basically got to stay with a glider kit truck, and you got to keep the engine serial number below older date, so that you can get away with it. But you have to put it in a glider truck. You can't put it into a newer truck.
Yeah.
That's how we got away with that on the Caterpillars.
That was good news for people that's got Caterpillars and still running like pre 2007 model trucks and all that stuff. I mean, that is great news for those folks, because I mean, say if you had the Kenworth or Peterbilt or something like that, one of them big hoods, and you didn't want to upgrade to all this BS that they're coming out with. I mean, at least Cat now has an engine that you can actually switch out and have a brand new motor instead of just having to rebuild it. So,
that's the thing is, in the heavy truck industry, that's been one of the biggest bones of contentions is we can buy parts for the Cats, but they're getting limited and in stock. So we can't so we get to a point where we can't fix. There's tens of thousands of Cat engines out in trucks and that are failing. And we only have two options for upgrade, and that's a Detroit or a Cummins. Both of them are expensive. Both of them are emission control standards. So you've got to upgrade the complete truck. You have to, a lot of time you have to change the transmission or change your gearing in your transmission. And it's just way more work. Where Cat has literally turned around and said, okay, we've left our customers that have bought our trucks stranded in the road without a solution, a replacement solution. So like that's things, because like there's some guys, I don't want to put a Cummins in my truck because I don't like the sound. There's some people, I don't want to put a Detroit in my truck because it's green, and I want a dang Cat in my truck. And unfortunately, Cat doesn't make engines anymore. So
yeah, that is actually a good thing with this new emissions trucks and all that stuff, because they are supposed to be starting to bust people for taking the emissions off of these trucks now.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that's what I was about to say. I got into a DOT check up on 80, and they asked me if the truck was deleted.
yeah.
I said, absolutely not. I said, I wouldn't own a truck that was deleted. And he says, well, we're going to check it because we know if it's deleted. He checked it all out and everything. And he said, everything looks good. He says, but those stacks are mighty dirty. I said, well, they just need wash. He said, no, I'm talking about the soot on the inside of them. He said, you sure that truck ain't deleted? I said, you just checked it all out. Is it deleted or not?
Yeah.
He said, no, sir, it's not deleted. And I thought, you dumb son of a bitch, just let me out. That truck's been deleted since day one.
I stopped doing inspections a long time ago, because up here it's licensing. It's a whole bunch of politics and hoo-ha. I hated it. But the shops that are doing inspection, they're now being requested and required by our government to actually pull the EGR out, make sure that it has not been capped, make sure that it is functioning OEM. So now inspections are getting expensive because the mechanics now required to tear the vehicle down to inspect the components that are commonly deleted. And that's the thing, is like up here in Canada, if you any vehicle, if you mess with any of the OEM like emission controls on it, they can, like, if a police officer pulls up and sees that you got excess exhaust out of your vehicle or has a suspicion, he can flag you for an inspection, and it has to pass, and it's got to pass inspection. You don't pass inspection, you can also get fined.
Right.
Like that's the thing. Like we got the rule: you buy a car to be a car to drive. If you want a race car, you buy a race car and you race it on a racetrack up here in Canada. Mm-hmm. You don't buy a car to race around the street, because unfortunately in Canada the fastest you can go is 120 kilometers. That's like 100 miles an hour. That's the fastest that we can go in here. So you don't need to own a car that goes faster than that unless you're in a racetrack. That's our government's mentality.
Shit, I'm going into 18th gear about that speed.
Yeah.
Well, you might well change it back to 13 and twist Mark. I mean,
Mark's full of shit. That Honda out there.
And then there's people like me that are, when it comes to diesels, I'm just a monster and crazily grumpy. It's like, you roll coal, I want to smack you upside the head. If you're not getting 40 to 60 miles a gallon, I want to smack you upside the head.
If I'm rolling coal, I got something off.
Yeah. That's the thing, is if you do your upgrading, your performance properly, you don't roll coal. You get good fuel. You still get fuel mileage. You'll still get the power. I just hate those people, because of those people that are intentionally making their vehicles drop excess fuel and roll coal. That we have the emissions that we have now.
Mine's not a play truck. My truck works.
Work trucks. You did it smart. You did it the right way. No.
It works.
Well, back when I first started, I mean, shiny 290. If it wasn't rolling black smoke, then you didn't know how to write mechanic work on it for you. So
yeah.
Or you weren't shifting the gears properly.
He was loving it.
Yeah, I mean,
shifted too soon.
Yeah, or either that or a damn 238 Detroit. I mean, those were.
No, I think the worst Detroit they ever made was a 318. Those were some head-eating motors right there. The 318, on Dad's, we used to do a head each week, double-breasted Yamaha. That's all it was.
That's why Detroit's got good fuel mileage, because they were burning half fuel, half oil.
Pretty much.
That's
really
it. I
wasn't-
mean,
they really wasn't burning the oil. They was marking their territory because it was always on the ground.
Yeah,
but that's what the old man always said. I mean, he said, I don't have to worry about the fuel gauge working in this truck. Whenever I decide it's time to pull over, I check the oil and add fuel. I mean, because I mean,
but actually,
if you can tighten those bolts up as tight as you want, second you start the thing and it gets its first vibrations, they're loose. You ain't helping it on in Detroit.
Actually, you're got to flip flop that, Daryl. You always fill the oil and check the fuel.
That's kind of what I meant there.
That's the way the 318s always were.
On our buses, we actually installed catch pans that had a filter, and it would literally pump the oil out of the catch pan right back into the can.
Yes,
like it was the only way to do it, man. Like we had this massive catch pan, and like we'd wrap it up around the engine, so everything that dripped off the engine ended in this catch pan. Gets pumped through a filter right back into the crankcase. Like, I'm not paying for oil, man. God no.
No, I mean, them old car carriers, that had the car over the top. They never had a passenger seat in them anyway. So, I mean, he'd had to take a passenger seat out of something else to put over there for me to ride in, and what I was actually sitting on was a damn case of oil, because I mean,
well, that's the thing is I don't know why they had a problem with it. What's asphalt made out of anyways? Oil. So we're just contributing to maintaining the road condition. You know, we're helping repair.
It's a sealer.
Yeah. Come on, we're doing our part.
I mean, the old man, in order to run from Darlington, South Carolina to Atlanta, Georgia, you know them little rolling hills that you got to roll over to go into Atlanta.
Yeah.
From say Florence or whatever. I mean, those are just rolling hills. But he would actually his boss man would actually go buy him a damn case of alcohol to pour into damn tanks. I mean, and he had that grass burner damn exhaust on that thing. So you actually couldn't pull the truck off the side of the road because you'd set the damn grass on fire. So, I mean, it was running the fuel was having to run that rich, that hot to actually get them to pull the hills. I mean,
the old mothballs that we used to have in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, we used to throw those in the tank, and that would give enough boost to the diesel to actually get you over the hill at 60. So that was good enough. Like that's the thing. Only thing that sucked about the old diesels, they could pull anything you put behind them, no matter what it was, but they would not go past 40 or 60. And when you hit that hill, you're at 40. The excitement was the downhill part. That was when you got excited. No.
Well, it was always a spectacular moment when the old man finally got up to a 400. I mean, a 400 come along. I mean, after driving in 238s and 318s and shiny 290s, I mean, he thought he was a big dog then when he got up to a 400.
Yeah.
But I mean, it would actually run up to a 4. It would run up close to 100, and he had one dude coming out of Greenville, South Carolina, and we was running empty, and he had a guy come by him changing gears. I mean, that did upset him that night. He said, "Damn it, where the hell did you come from?"
Well, do you remember when Volvo first came big on the market, and they ended up smoking even the cats going up the hill?
Oh,
and it's like, hold it, this Volvo engine, it's a goddamn Detroit engine. It's the same goddamn engine. Why is it passing my Detroit? What did they do?
Well, I mean, and then you got to hand it to Detroit. They switched over to actually switched over to Mercedes engines there so they could get extra 3 or 4 years out of the emissions thing so that they could run. So, I mean, I drove one of them Mercedes engines, and I didn't even have 100,000 miles on that, and wore a fuel line out on top of the motor. I filled the damn truck stop slam full of diesel fuel one night. I woke up and the damn diesel fuel poured all over the place, and I said,
"That's one thing I can say. Mine, I'm staying 5.5, 6 miles to a gallon. But then again, I have days that I'm getting 2.5, maybe 2.8,
depending on which way the wind blows. I mean,
yeah." And I tell you, when I'm getting low fuel mileage like that, I'm really getting a reaming too.
Yeah.
Mark, did the smoke run you out of that area up there?
It was pretty foggy. They had to be really foggy up towards Jefferson way from all the fires coming down, the smoke from Canada.
It wasn't really that foggy. You could smell. It smelled like
it was bad.
somebody just.
It's actually kind of funny. We're actually some of us are going, well, we're just giving it back to you for last year and those fires from California.
Well, I mean,
wait a minute, is he living in a bus?
I seen this is always, but I went to I was sitting here watching a video the other night, and it seemed like when the fires actually got over to Quebec, they all started at the same time because they had those things going overhead, them satellites going, and it looked like all the fires started at one time when they got to Quebec.
You want to know something? Last week, the RCMP announced that 60% of the fire was started by arson. Now the news has been banned from saying that it was started by arson. RCMP is being suppressed, and it's literally up here in Canada. We got eco people that I'm pro environment, but I don't like what you're doing, so I'm going to destroy the environment.
Yeah.
Oh, we want to make a point. Greenhouse gases and global warming is reality. So what are we going to do? We're going to set a fire and blame it on the weather. No, our weather has not been any different this year than it has any other year in the last 15 years. We've had the same temperatures, same record highs, same record lows, same amount of rain, but we never had these issues until now, when our child emperor starts beating on his little fanboys that follow him. Turn them out. Well, we'll help make a point. Let's go. It starts some fires. It's literally was proven that it was started by arson, but now it's being suppressed. That knowledge has been suppressed by our government. So yeah,
I don't want anybody to know anything about it.
Nope.
Right.
I mean, they put it as code red in New York City the other day.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't actually see the damn buildings in front of you hardly. The smoke was so thick in New York City. So,
and do you know what's driving me crazy? Our prime minister will not give the order for our military and engineering corps to go out there and help it. Our engineering corps can handle that fire in a matter of days, but no, he's going to let it burn to try to make his point. That's all he's going to do. He's going to let it keep burning to make his point. He's trying to make our opposing government look bad.
Well, the sad thing about it is paper up there in Canada is a major industry.
Yeah.
And if all the trees get destroyed up there, then what? I mean, yeah, I mean, so
like 65% of your guys' lumber comes from Canada and stuff like that. So, like, what is our government doing? He's damaging our economy. He's damaging the U.S. economy. He's damaging our foreign economy. He's playing a stupid, dangerous game. And that's the thing is, we up here in Canada, everyone needs to wake up, because we do have the power. We can all demand an election. We have the authority as the people, because we're a democracy. The people are allowed to demand a vote. But that's the thing is, our child emperor is trying to suppress all that, and it's getting to the point where I'm begging our admiral of our British fleet, who has absolute authority, to go and arrest him for treason. And I've pointed out exactly what treason he's done. Our admiral of our British of our Navy has absolute authority over the Prime Minister if necessary. And at this point in time, I want him to take action.
Right. Hey, how you doing, Bocce?
But anyways, enough politics. Back to trucks. I like the truck stuff better. The truck stuff's more fun.
Hey, I've been seeing a Mac commercial on my phone lately. The new Mac Midliner.
Is that the electric one?
Yeah, that electric one.
Yeah, I was down there. I was down there. Where was that? Allentown. And at that Mac dealership down there, and they had brought some of them in there. But guess what? They didn't have no charging systems, and the batteries were dead in them.
Imagine that.
Didn't they have one out of Palmerton that didn't make the day?
They took one out to Palmerton over there to the hazardous waste dump site. And it ran maybe 5 hours, and it ran out of juice. Well, there was no charging station. So now they ended up having to get a wrecker and tow it back to Allentown because they had no way of charging it. So now Mac's sitting there, the Mac dealership in Allentown is sitting there with a bunch of them on their lot, and their batteries are dead.
Well, everyone's gonna have to start buying reefers and convert the chiller to a charging station. You know,
generation.
Run a diesel engine to power my battery truck.
Yeah, I don't understand why you would even put something like that out if you got no way to repower it.
Exactly.
No infrastructure for it, nothing. It doesn't make any sense.
See, now what they're saying is, I guess some techs are going to come from China and set up these charging stations for these trucks. So
from China?
So where did it benefit going green when they're not even set up for it? They have no source of doing so.
They want people just to look at it, how pretty it is. Because that's what they're going to do. They're going to look at it on the side of the interstate when it runs out of battery, dude.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, I mean, you look at his YouTube videos or TikTok videos or whatever else. I mean, and when those electric cars catch on fire, they have no way to put them out. I mean, they have no way whatsoever to put them out. So they have to just let them sit there and burn themselves out.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing, East Coast Ken? Good to see you.
Can you imagine how much pollution and everything else that fire that lithium fire is putting out into the damn?
In Tennessee caught on for that time.
That stuff's toxic, bad.
That's why they tell them.
But it doesn't matter. We're saving oil.
Yeah, they're saying don't put these new cars in their garages that are attached to their homes because it's going to burn them to the ground when it shorts.
That's true.
Remember what we used to do with the oil fires? We used to just go and lay some charges and blow it up, suck the air out of the fire. Yeah, maybe we just got to start teaching our firemen how to use dynamite properly now. Cars on fire, don't worry, we're going to blow a crater in your driveway.
It's sad, but I mean, it's the sad part about it is the only way to get the lithium is having to come from freaking China, first off, and second off is they're having to strip mine everything. I mean, even coal, they don't even strip mine coal in West Virginia.
What baffles me is these companies making these vehicles aren't investing in the companies that are actually inventing and designing biodegradable organic battery cells that work. They just need the financing to keep their research going, to refine it to an art where it's a smaller cell, still holds the same capacity, but we have technology that's being worked on, but these corporations are going for the solution that already exists that works instead of investing in the solution that could benefit our world. Imagine having, oh, my car battery's dead. Okay, I'm going to pull it out, throw it in my garden, plant some flowers on it. Done deal. Put my new battery in. Catches on, won't catch on fire, won't burst into flames. We've got stuff that can benefit us. But the big problem is we don't have the power supply. We don't have enough hydro dams stuff. Like, this isn't like the 1920s. My electric car's batteries are dying. Grab the hooks, hook them onto the power line, charge it up. There you go. Like, you can't do stuff like that. Like, we don't have enough power plants. We don't have enough. And the power plants that we do have running, what are they running? Natural gas, coal, nuclear, things that are far worse for the environment than the diesel engine. Right.
Well, I mean, I really and truly, I don't see nuclear energy as nearly as bad as some of the other stuff. Because I grew up with there was a nuclear power plant. It was one of the first ones built in the United States, 3 miles from where I was born and raised. So, I mean, yeah, sometimes they might have little problems, but for the most part, that electric power plant down there has always been steady. I mean, as long as they shut down and do the maintenance every 6 months or whatever they're supposed to do to it.
The only problem with nuclear is the byproduct.
Yeah,
and the water that we use to cool it. The water that we use to cool it becomes contaminated. But storing that water, like, we have to store that water, we have to store that waste material. And what do we do with it? We dig a hole and build vaults 6.7 kilometers below the Earth's surface to store all this stuff, or we drop it into the bottom of the ocean. Like, we have to find a better way of dealing with this. Like, maybe Elon should make some rockets to take this waste and fire it into the sun. That would be better use of his rockets, because space exploration is never going to happen. The closest planet to us is 2,000 years, is 3,000 years away from us, going at the speed of light. So we're never going to see another planet that's habitable. We're never going to be there. So we're wasting rockets on space exploration for nothing, because we're never going to get to explore space. We should be using these rockets to heave all our garbage into the sun, feed the sun, make it happy.
Well, I mean, technically, they had hydrogen back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Okay, vehicles that were run off of hydrogen. But the thing about hydrogen is there's no, the byproducts ain't there, and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's just like with these lithium batteries. Even when they go bad, they got to bury them daggum things so deep and everything else, so they don't pollute water supplies and stuff like that.
Like, that's the thing. People don't realize, like, yeah, your lithium battery is recyclable, the materials made to do it, but the lithium inside of it is non-recyclable, and it's toxic and hazardous, and we can't dispose of that properly either. Like, that's the thing. That's like, we're using the wrong products, we're doing the wrong science, we're researching the wrong stuff. If we, like, the honest truth is, like, it is organics, like organic power, organic fuel, organic like batteries, stuff that is biodegradable, may have a carbon footprint, but the carbon footprint is neutralized by the growth of the crop.
Yeah,
it's a balance. Like, unfortunately, plants aren't for eating. Plants are for fueling my vehicle and keep me driving.
But then again, we got Mark up there. It was a old school cattle hauler reject that would run up down the road. I mean, and I mean, he could basically drive that truck on cattle farts. I mean, so I mean.
That's the thing. We've got access to methane, which is a great fuel for running off stuff. We can produce it in mass abundance. All our mines up here in Canada run off methane.
Yeah,
and our pig farms, their power generators that power the whole farm are powered off methane and stuff like that. Like that's another solution. Methane's a great way to go. We have more plastic in the world than we do oil, and 90% of the plastic is non-recyclable. We can actually convert that through pyrolysis the same way we make diesel, that produces a diesel and a gas that has up to 60 to 70% less emissions than our fuels that we use right now out of waste plastics. Like we have so many other alternatives that are better than what we're doing right now, better than electric, better than this. And even in the good old days, a properly tuned diesel had less emissions than a gas engine did.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, we live 7 miles from the Volvo plant out here. Okay, and they're they got testing going on and all that stuff. So I mean, they might, but I mean, testing all different types of fuel. Yeah. Okay, but the daggum electric trucks they building now, they look like cowboys with a heart on. I mean, that's basically what they amount to. I mean, those are some ugly ass trucks. We went by there and looked at, and I mean,
have you seen the new Freightliner lineup with the Freightliner GMC team up? Freightliner's got a new cab over that actually looks pretty snookum.
Yeah, well, I seen that the other week. Yeah,
it's pretty interesting vehicles, and
are they
using running off diesels? They will all have an electric, but
are they using hydrogen or are they using batteries? Are the new electric vehicles, are they using hydrogen or are they using batteries? Batteries? Okay, so it actually is
the kibosh on that hydrogen cell, even though that was a smarter way to go, in my opinion. Like not the tank, the actual the fuel cell.
Yeah, no, I actually use those at work. We use hydrogen cells, but the point I'm getting to is that those batteries take up more gigawatt to charge than they do to build the actual trucks.
Yeah, and the sad part about it is, and your state is the one causing all these problems, Mike. I mean, but the thing about it is, Walmart itself is pushing those trucks. I mean, do they have how many of those electric outlets do they have out there in the truck lot for trucks to plug in while they're sitting there waiting to deliver, or even over at the Walmart where the Walmart trucks park? Have they started putting electric outlets in over there yet?
Sorry,
I mean,
I'm a bit of a robot.
There's no place that can. There is no place to charge. Charging station.
Let me come back. Let me come back.
Okay.
Let me come back. I'll be back.
All right. Yeah. There is. I mean, Mark, have you seen them putting any in the truck stops? Have you seen them putting any charging stations in, taking up half the property to actually charge those trucks, those electric trucks?
No,
and all that stuff.
Anything.
Because I mean, they might work west of you on that flat land, but as far as electric trucks in these damn mountains, they're not going to friggin' work because they're going to cut the battery life in half.
They have built a track out here.
I mean,
the other funny thing about these charging stations, the gas stations that have the stations and facilities that have these charging stations, have you actually looked where they're getting that power from? Most of the ones that I've seen are running a diesel or a propane generator to run those charges. They're not running off the grid.
It don't make no sense.
We're still using fossil fuel to power our electric vehicles, but also the carbon footprint from making one Tesla battery or one electric battery. That one battery takes up more, creates more emission and more damage to the environment because of strip mining, the chemicals, the processing, the transportation of it, and the disposal of it than 100 diesel trucks do in a 10-year span. Like we can create efficient diesel engines as long as people don't mess with them and leave them are without all these fancy emission controls that we have. But that's the thing, we can make efficient enough diesel engines because we have done it in the past that have such a low carbon footprint, such a low emission ratio, and still have high power and high output. But we're not investing in that anymore. Like we're investing in stupid stuff.
Well, like I said, when I first moved up here, okay, I'm 7 miles from the Volvo plant. They had trucks that at that time, 2008, 2009, they would put a white handkerchief over the damn top of the stacks.
Yep.
And when they come out, the daggum took the handkerchief off the stacks and turned it back over the side. It was still white. I mean, so in other words, the trucks from 2007 emissions was a lot cleaner then than it was before that.
But now it's cleaner than
But now it's even supposed to be even cleaner now because of all that daggum catalytic converter BS on them or the regen or whatever it is. But when that stuff breaks down, that's an extra $15 to $20, $10 to $20,000 extra that you got to put in that truck to make it actually, run like it was designed again.
We used to do on some of our buses without the emission standard stuff on there. We just had a water tank that our exhaust ran through. That water tank would absorb 99% of the loose carbon, would not affect the emission, the exhaust, would not affect the horsepower, and we didn't have to have any professional modifications. We just used water.
Here's the problem.
So yes,
they're worried about these trucks. Okay. What about these power plants? What about making the tires for these vehicles to work? You're not going to go green with any of this. They're just blowing smoke is all they're doing. And it's all about coal. Yes. You need oil. You need coal. You need oil. Because you're not what are we gonna we're gonna go and cut a tree down and put it on for a tire? Come on now.
Yeah. Hey, we actually could live without oil. It is possible. But it's very important that we continue to mine coal because of all the things that we use to power with coal.
Well, I'm too old to pull 80,000 pounds up one of these mountains around here in a Flintstone truck. I mean, I'm sorry, but there ain't no way in hell I can do that.
Well, here's the catch-22. Going without fossil oil, converting to synthetic oil, we're either taking it out of the ground or we're cutting down the trees and cutting down the plants to make it. Either way, we're attacking the environment because almost all synthetic things are made from plant-based chemicals or chemicals that have been engineered using a fossil fuel to modify a plant-based product into a chemical, or we're using animal byproduct. So either way, there's a no win on this one. We have to do something, and oil seems to be the lesser of evils because we can actually recycle our oil. We can recycle the rubbers, and the stuff that we can't recycle, we can turn into fuel that has less emissions. Fossil oil is the better solution because our trees and our plants clean the air and the emissions. So if we start utilizing all that over top of the fossil fuel, now we have nothing to clean the air of the emissions that we've created from the stuff that was supposed to clean the emissions out of the air. So
let me
don't have no brain. I'm an idiot, yet I know more than they do.
let me blow your mind just real quick on this whole emissions issue. The United States is the largest supplier of pellet stove fuel for Europe.
Yeah.
Now, Europe uses their trash. They take their trash, they burn it and convert it into energy so that they're, clean. But the pellets that we supply to Europe are actually a huge problem for the environment as they burn it.
And this is the downfall. The downfall.
Well, that's why in Europe, like in the UK, they're trying to get rid of those pellets. They're trying to get rid of those pellets by offering people an actual form of fuel to heat their house that they're going to literally start piping through the same pipes that they did the natural gas out there. And what are they doing? They're actually burning plastics and rubbers and using pyrolysis and using the burn off gas of that, like the final stage, to run the furnace and also supply into it. So they're actually a couple steps ahead of us because they have started using pyrolysis to turn waste into fuel to replace the fuels that they're being supplied. Like they're trying to step away from having to use like the U.S. pallets or the Canadian lumber source or stuff like that, and Russian coal. They're trying. What they're going to do is they're going to start buying up all the garbage from around the world for free, and they're going to use that to power everything.
But this is the bad thing of it is people fail to realize.
Yeah.
I haul coal every week.
Yep.
And where am I going? I'm going to steel mills and all that so they can run their furnaces to make the steel, to make the car that we're going to put our cut down trees on it for tires.
Yep. Like,
come on.
And the funny thing is, you hear about how the United States is trying to clean their air, but do you think India or China is worried about one bit of daggone pollution? Those are the two biggest countries in the world right now because all our industry left out the United States and went to friggin' China or India.
Do you know what? The number one cause that, like, we're on about fuel and emissions and stuff like that. But do you know what's actually killing our environment? What's killing our world is over manufacturing, because we got a consumer basis. The world is on disposable consumables, and they have to buy the new phone every 3 months. They have to buy the new TV every year. They have to buy the new car every 2 years. And none of that. Manufacturers are over manufacturing. Like you look at GM, Ford, Honda, and all them. They have storage yards of cars that are still brand new, never been driven, never got sold, that are 20 years old, just sitting in this yard, rotting away, not being recycled, not being disposed of. We've got electronics that end up going in the garbage bin. We've got products that go in the garbage bin because they're 5 years old. No one's going to buy them, even if we discount them. No one wants them, so throw them in the garbage. What's caused the environmental issue is our consumer base wants the newest thing right now, and we overproduce and we overmanufacture, because if manufacturers think that if they stop manufacturing, they're going to lose money, but they're losing money from having to dispose of their products that they're overmaking. So if they make less products, they're saving money, but not by not having to dispose of that product or having to find shelving space or storage for that. They're saving money with labor, but they can also take that labor. Well, what are we going to do? Jobs are cut. No, we increase the actual thought that goes into the manufacturing, where we have humans hands-on assembling it, inspecting it, extend the process of manufacturing, like the actual thought that goes into putting it together to build a better quality at a lower volume. Therefore, you're making products that last a little bit longer. You don't have to over manufacture. We don't have all this waste. And we also just teach people to stop throwing their, like, oh yeah, you want the brand new phone right now. Well, until you find a way to recycle your phone properly, hold off. For you don't need the newest, shiniest thing right now. And that's it's our consumerism that's killing the world, not our cars, not our gases, not our fuels.
Well, Sayer, to be honest with you, everybody on this panel right now, we actually was the end of the greenest energy that was ever produced.
Yeah.
Because I mean, back when we were all kids, okay, how many of us walked down the road, picked up Pepsi bottles, Coca-Cola bottles,
Yep.
and everything else, glass
Yep.
bottles that were took back and recycled.
Yeah.
I sure did. Taking that
Instead
aluminum
of this
can.
instead of this all this damn plastic stuff that's going in the environment that, I mean, like you said, in Florida, I've hauled steel to a damn place in Florida that's what they were doing with it was building a power plant down there that would burn off all this plastics and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I mean, in other words, that is what so in other words, our generation is actually the generation that got away from the recycling, but we were raised in recycling.
Yeah. Well, like none of that. We wore hand-me-downs. We wore hand-me-down clothes. We don't go buy new clothes every day.
No.
We kept the same watch, the same Walkman, the same radio until it literally burnt out, till it broke, and we did not replace stuff until it needed to be replaced. We weren't consumer driven like the shiny new thing out there is what we have to have now. No, we got the old black and white TV. When that burns out, then we'll go buy a color TV. But we're fine with what we have right now because that's all we need. Because we could be outside doing something better with our time.
But basically, it comes down to, if you come right down to reality, it's the high ups.
Yeah.
Getting all this manufactured and everything, but you put 2 wrenches in their damn hand and they couldn't make them work.
Yeah.
No.
They're the ones sitting back making everything while the little guy continues to struggle with all their new ideas. That's all it comes down to.
That's all it comes down to. I mean, you take a daggum early 1970s model car, okay? All right. Take a Chevrolet or a Ford. Okay, well, everybody took, if you had an alternator to go out, okay, your alternator or your water pump or your whatever else went out, your camshaft went out, okay, well, you went down to the junkyard and you bought a used camshaft or whatever it was and put it on the car and it would run longer, okay. But nowadays, you go down here to places like O'Reilly's, Advanced Auto, or whatever else, and it's actually cheaper for you to get a remanufactured part than it is to go to the junkyard and buy the part, the actual parts that was made on the car.
Yep.
So, in other words, we were we were raised recyclers.
Yeah.
But I mean, but nowadays, this is cheap junk from China. I mean, they send a daggum box load of whole truckload of daggum alternators to China. They rebuild them and send them back to us, and it's still cheaper. It's cheaper than going to the daggum junkyard and buying the parts to fix it.
But you're also talking how many years difference between back then to now. It's basically even the cars crumble up, throw them away, and go in debt again.
That's exactly that. I mean, there is no trying. I mean, that's what they make nowadays. Nowadays, it's all throwaway cars.
Yeah.
Throwaway trucks, throwaway everything.
Everything.
I mean,
and it's all by design. It's all by design for profit and gain with no care of anything else.
But then you stop and you look at like Ford, the straight 6 motor and all that. You couldn't kill it.
No.
Especially at 300.
So they do away with this stuff. Anything that worked, they did away with it and went to another piece of junk that you couldn't get that out.
Well, You take a daggum. You take. I owned a '63 Dodge Dart with a slant six in it. You could not. There was. I mean, I tried. You could not blow that car up. No matter how hard I tried. Back
But
when
you
I was
can't say that off of any car that you would buy nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays I can go in here and I could sit there and switch gears and just manually switch gears in it. This is a 2015 truck out here. I guarantee you the transmission wouldn't last
You got
hardly at all.
You got to be talking about a GMC.
Yeah, it is, but I mean, your Dodge is basically the same thing. I mean,
my Dodge is in good shape because I don't drive it.
Everybody drives it while you're gone, Mark. That's why.
Yeah, you got that right. And do you know what the funny thing is on those old cars? It was 100% recyclable. These new cars are not 100% recyclable.
No.
But none of that. We have all these extra bells and whistles, safety features, computers and electronics that were never needed, but they were introduced because someone wanted fancy lights in their car. Or cars just started getting too fast, too powerful. Because in the good old days, stock engines weren't like they are now. They weren't doing 300, 400 horsepower. They couldn't get the speeds that we get to now. So now we have these cars that are going faster, being driven stupider by people that don't know how to drive properly, having more accidents. Where had we kept the old cars that were kind of sluggish and luggy and let the normal people drive those, we wouldn't need all this stuff. And then the people that like their muscle and performance, they can muscleize their cars, and we left the world that way. But now people, they want to be able to go buy a muscle car. We should have never started selling muscle cars. Just like buy a car, turn it into a muscle car. But yeah, it's like, and then you learn a little bit too, eh?
Now you go right back to the recycling thing.
Yeah.
So now you're talking fossil fuels again to do the recycling thing that we're trying to get away from. Somebody didn't think this through too well.
But like I was mentioning that slant six Dodge, no matter what way I drove it or anything else, I could get 30 miles to the gallon out of that car, and it was a 1963 model.
See, what we need to do is we need to pray for another dark ages to come, because everyone seems to forget that one point in time, Rome, Egypt, and all them had running water, septic systems, sewers, and stuff like that. They had all the bells and whistles. Then at some point in history, we went back to the dark age where everyone's throwing their garbage out their window, the poop out the window, all this stuff disappeared. That's what we got to pray for, is that somehow we have another dark age and all this technology just somehow disappears, and we got to learn again, and we get to learn it right the next time.
Okay. Well, we were raised on well water. Okay. We didn't have all these crazy damn filters. We didn't have all this other stuff. Okay. But if they tested our water, it was clean, okay? But it had a little bit of minerals in it and stuff like that. But now you go over to Walmart or somewhere like that, and just using Walmart as an example, okay? And now it's got all kind of even the distilled water. Got all kinds of daggum chemicals, everything else in it.
It's got it right on the label.
That, I mean, it's all there. But if you try to drink faucet water, it tastes like crap. I mean, so in other words, what happened? I mean,
what happened? It's called convenience.
Yeah.
Everybody relied on convenience. And that's why people don't have money nowadays, because the convenience is eating them alive.
Yeah.
They don't think about going and paying $3 for a bottle of soda. They don't think about.
See, if the next generation wants to know how to save the world, We got to learn. They have to learn to stand up to the big rich man that's telling us that we have to be disposable. We have to be consumer driven. We have to have the new stuff. They have to be able to stand and say, no, I want stuff that's built that is going to last and is going to be reusable, recyclable, or I can upgrade or make new on my own and stuff like that. It's up to the people to turn around and say, we're tired of the waste. We're tired of, like, I'm willing to walk 2 blocks to get what I need instead of having some drone deliver it to me. Like, we got to stop being lazy, stop relying on the big corporation. And none of that, start relying on the local mom and pop shops, your local town shops, your local manufacturers, that, like, because they're doing stuff that's not the same as the big boss man. They're trying to make a sustainable product. They're trying to make a good product. Stop being lazy, stop being selfish, stop being greedy. And like, that's what it comes down to. Like,
that's what happened to everywhere is the convenience. The convenience has assumed everybody. And, you know, it's so easy now. You just get on your daggone telephone and blah, 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 your food's delivered to the door. You know, the convenience, and people are going broke because of the convenience instead of doing it the way you should have did it.
Well, I used to love going down to the video store to rent movies. That was a special occasion. That was something special. It was like, woohoo, put on your shoes. We're going to go down to Blockbusters and pick out a movie. But nowadays it's like, oh, that just sounds like work, man. I got to get off my butt and do something. You're getting out. You're in fresh air. You're getting some exercise. It's an adventure. You're like, none of that. You get to grab the box and feel it and go, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my granddaddy run a little country store. What vegetables he sold in this country store, he grew on his own farm. Okay, and the Pepsi Cola bottles. Okay, I was a small kid. I was probably 5, 6 years old. Mom and Dad was working, so I was, you know, that's what my job was. When somebody brought in a trunk load of bottles, Pepsi Cola bottles, Coca-Cola bottles, or whatever else.
Yeah.
Okay, I went back there and I crated them up and sorted them out and all that stuff. I mean. But nowadays, it's all plastic. I mean, everything you got is friggin' plastic. I mean, it's or I mean, you take half of these new model cars and trucks and everything else, and I mean, you can take. I can actually take my finger and poke in the side of that daggum GMC out there and actually bend that truck. Yeah, but just poking my finger inside of it.
But hey, everybody, I'm gonna have to cut out. It's almost 10 o'clock, and my phone's gonna start ringing for check-in times.
All right, Mark. Well, I appreciate it. It was good seeing you, Mark.
Talking to you, Mark.
Awesome seeing you, buddy.
But just don't give Bo too hard of a time, because this was actually not his fault this time around. I mean, so
I gotta run too, Daryl.
Okay, Cajun.
We'll see y'all.
All right, good night,
Cajun.
Everybody,
yeah, I mean, but it's
all right, guys. I'll catch y'all later. As always, love, peace, and crackling grease. Catch y'all later.
Yeah, good night. Yeah, but I mean, Mike, you know, you're out there in the state, this going pushing all this stuff. You know, but the thing about it is what is it accomplished? It's accomplished a hell of a lot of homelessness.
No,
accomplished a whole hell of a lot of everything. I mean,
you already know it doesn't accomplish jack shit, because the true issues is what we're avoiding by doing all these other things.
Yeah,
that's the problem. You know, we'll make this fight about homelessness, even though every county in California gets paid for homelessness.
Yeah.
They get paid for it. They're not going to do shit about it, but they're going to sit there and tell you to your face that it's a problem and we're worried about it, and the crime and the drugs, yada, yada, yada. Dude, I live it right here in California. I mean, even here where I live in the desert, I'm 2.5 hours away from LA.
Yeah.
and they send all their homeless people up here. They put them on a bus. They send them up this way for like a 10-hour bus ride, for Christ's sakes, to let them out on the streets. And the town of Victorville, which is right next to me, gets paid for it.
Yeah. And
that's the thing is we're spending money on wars overseas, money on stupid stuff, money on laws and that. When we used to spend our money on rehabilitation centers, like insane asylums or clinics that helped people that had mental health issues, we took care of our society. We took care of our people. We kept our clean street. We had homes for people and stuff like that. We had soup kitchens and that. And we gave reason not to be homeless. We don't give a reason not to be homeless anymore because these homeless people are getting money. If you take their welfare checks away from them, take their income away from them, they're going to stop being on that street because they need to support themselves and stay alive. So either they're going to go to crime or they're going to get off to do a job. Now, how do we do with the crime thing? Well, we unfortunately have to make stricter policies on criminal offense, like mandatory, like sentences without parole. Like you tell a person you rob a person, you're going away for this long with no parole. But we also have to make the prisons where the prisons are like they used to be. We rehabilitate you. We do not give you convenience. We give them conveniences now to where prison is like a vacation. No, you come in here, you learn, you're going to go to school, you're going to learn a trade, or you're going to learn get a university degree. You're going to get something that's going to benefit you when you come out. You're going to get your 3 squares a day. You're going to get your exercise, but you're not going to get a TV. You're not going to get a phone. You're not going to get candies. You're not going to get this because you don't you showed us that you don't deserve that right now. You want to have freedom. You want to have this. You have to be a part of society and contribute. And we're going to give you what you need to be contributing. But no, like we don't even force them to go to get education or anything like that in prison anymore. They used to not even have a choice. Like you guys learn. You're learning. We're working on a road crew, cleaning up the garbage on the side of the road, or volunteering doing demolition on a construction site. You were working. And then when you came out, you had some sort of sense of mind of like accomplishment. I'm working, I'm doing this. I want to get back out there and I want to work and do that because that was satisfaction. Like,
nowadays there's no consequence in what you do. No. I mean, like you said, they got all the conveniences of home. Yeah. I mean, just don't drop this damn soap. But I mean, you got all the conveniences of home. But on top of that, they used to make it hard labor. Okay, all these roads, the roads in Virginia, they look like crap. Okay, I mean, but back then, back in the day, they used to have chain gangs that was out there all the daggum time. That was actually working their ass off to keep around the curves cleaned off, where you could see what's coming around the curve or whatever else.
Well,
I mean,
a good example of that, Daryl, is our California fire prevention. We used to use prison inmate teams to prevent fire, as firefighters. Yeah. And we're slowly cutting that out of the process now. I believe the state only has 3 more teams that are available to help fight fires. Yeah, and the crazy part is a lot of those guys use that as a rehabilitation. Yeah. And they were able to take that into the real world, the guys that didn't want to continue with crime, the guys that didn't want to continue with the gangs, the guys that made the choices to be better people would actually use that opportunity to get them a job in the real world. Yeah. And we're slowly taking that away. Just like high school has no shop classes, no government econ, no cooking, no business, no children retarded.
no building construction, no anything else. I mean, back when I went to school, I said, I was in shop class, I was in building construction, I was in all of this stuff, that made me who I am.
I was a certified welder my junior year of high school.
Yeah.
A certified welder. Like
Yeah, and
I could have gone into welding if I didn't go into the airlines. You know what I mean?
yeah,
No, so that's the thing is we took away options from our youth, and we keep and the people now in charge are telling people the only way you're going to make it is if you have a university degree or you
yes,
go to college and do all this stuff. We don't tell the children that, hey, there's this other line of work. You're like people like not. We also have people that say, well, if you do construction, you're below the lawyer, you're below the doctor. No, actually, we're above that doctor, we're above that lawyer, because we build the house that he's in, we maintain the infrastructure it does. We have the most integral role in society, and we are the proudest people. If you want to be a proud person, you get into the trades, you get into industries, you get satisfaction at the end of every day, you get a good paycheck, you have a good life, you make damn good money and stuff like that, and it costs you less in the long run than going to university and having a debt.
We learned that these were the most important things you could have. I mean, cause you can work on whatever you want to. I mean, you go to college and all they teach you is how to screw up everything. To where I'm gonna put this bolt. I'm on this computer. I'm gonna put this bolt in this engine back behind everything, so you got to take the whole damn engine apart to just change a little small gasket. I mean, it don't make any sense, but I mean that's just the way the world is right now. I mean,
it's
none of that. Like all these classes that we got in school taught children how to survive. They taught them how to be self-sufficient, how to cook your own meals, how to sew your own socks when you get a tear. Like that's things like we've taken away too much from them, and it's hurting them. Like everyone's talking about how this is attacking children, how this is hurting children. No, our education system is what's killing our children and hurting our children. Well, it's the interference from the government and other people saying stuff. Let the school board be what it used to be. Kids go to school to learn how to do math, arithmetic. When they get into junior high school, they start learning about real life, sewing, darning, knitting, cooking, woodworking. And not only that keeps kids' minds from wandering, because now they're thinking about that wood project that they're going to do next week, or that metalworking project that they're doing next week to get that A+, and how excited they want. They're too focused on their school and their education to be focused on all the other trash that's going on around them.
Well, you take half of the things they learn in arithmetic and math. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I learned in math that I have never friggin' used.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff in that. I mean, I'm not a friggin' engineer, so I mean, I don't need to know how to do this. I need to know, just give me dimensions on what to cut out, or however to cut it out, or what the bolt pattern is, and all this stuff, and I can build whatever you need. But I mean, it's just that kind of it's a whole different system now. I mean, nowadays, a boy can't tell he's a boy. I mean, until he graduates high school. I mean, a girl can't tell whether she's a girl until she graduates high school.
That's the other thing. Like that. Like, okay, as an adult, you can be whatever you want because you're able to make that thing. Children should not be influenced by anything other than being a child and by what their family wishes. The best thing is, if you're a religious family, you want to raise your child religious, let them raise them religious. If you're a gay family, you want to raise your child gay family, let them do that. But don't do it in school. Do not teach it in school. Do not teach it in public. Do not do this. There are a lot of things that are backwards right now.
Yes.
But the good place to start is make school a safe zone where kids can go to school and be kids, learn school, not have any interference from anyone else, or be confused or have to go home and argue with their parents and stuff like that about, well, I was told this and that, stuff that does not matter until you're an adult anyways, that doesn't have any importance or value until you're an adult. Because like I will honestly say, until you are of a certain age, humans have to go through puberty for a reason, because it develops our brain. Now, you may have feelings or emotions pre-puberty, but those emotions could change after puberty. Those feelings could change after puberty. So puberty is a necessity. There's also necessity in the evolution of your brain, the chemicals of your brain, and your body development. Now, and like that's the thing is, after you go through that and you've lived your life and experienced life and understood enough to choose logically and mentally prepared for the choice that you're going to make, and understand the consequence of the choice that you're going to make, that you can make a choice. So no, kids are kids. Let kids be. Let families raise their children how they want, because that's family. You don't mess with family values. No, like that's the thing. It's like politics, family, and school.
Yeah.
There's no place in politics, family, or school for religion, gender, or any of that stuff. No. Only thing politicians need to worry about is how are we going to bring in more profit to our country? How are we going to keep our people alive? How are we going to sustain our country 10 years, 20 years, 100 years down the road? We don't need to be making gender laws. We don't need to be making special laws for special groups. One set of laws for everyone equally. Everyone has to follow those laws equally, and everyone must be able to face the consequences equally. No special laws and stuff like that. Nothing. It's like just one book. Everyone follows that book, and that's like for you guys. It's your Constitution, the laws that come below that Constitution that reinforce that Constitution and ensure that you use your constitutional rights safely, properly, and appropriately. That's what the law should be in the U.S. Like, we have our constitutional rights, but do you have the constitutional right to just go out and kill whoever you want, whenever you want? Or this guy took the last loaf of bread, so I'm going to shoot him and stuff like that. No, there has to be a consequence. Like, if you use a weapon in defense or as an attack, there has to be a consequence. Yeah. Because you have to teach people to start making the moral choice. Do I want to be a criminal and take life, or do I want to be a good guy and take life? Do I want to take life on any aspect? Is it like that's the thing, by introducing consequences to both sides of the coin and making it impartial and true and fair for everyone equally, and stop these assaults on social media. Like, the government wants to block stuff on media. Well, then they should be blocking the stuff that is hateful.
Well, that's the thing. They don't want to block that because they want the division.
Yeah, that's the thing. They want the division. And I mean, what was it? I mean, we was all raised with two. We was all raised. I mean, I figure Canada was the same way at that time. We was all raised around. There was two genders, a male and a female. What you did in your bedroom or in your house or whatever else, that was your business. Yeah. Well, see, I don't care about it. Don't throw it up in my face every time I'm
funny.
On the street.
It's absolutely funny how during COVID we wanted to use science to prove everybody wrong, but now we can't use science to prove everything right.
That's right. I mean, well, that's the thing, is both sides only use science when it benefits them, but when it doesn't benefit them or goes against their beliefs, it doesn't exist. Like, exactly. But see, that's the thing, is even in the transgender community, the non-woke transgender community, they understand that there is male and female. So I'm transitioning to a transgender woman. They're not transitioning to a woman. They're transitioning to a transgender woman. And these ethical ones, they will not compete against genetic women because they know they have the advantage. They know there's no. It's just like transgender men. They won't compete against men because they know they're at a disadvantage. Like it was fair. And if they went into a place that the washrooms, if it was iffy or questionable, if people are going to be like upset about it, they asked for a private washroom. Like they treated everyone treated each other with respect and properly.
Yeah. Well,
here, no, not here. You got to respect me, but I don't got to respect you one fucking bit, bro. That's how it works here.
But that's the thing. But that's why it wasn't an issue back then, because there was no standing out. There was no trying to be different. Science was accepted. Like I'm not a real woman, but I am a woman in my heart. But I'm not a woman, and I'm not going to try to expect the same treatment as a woman.
And for here,
on the other hand, we'd respect them and say, okay, well, you're being polite and courteous about it. So, yes, I'll give you the time of day, and I'll say, okay, yes, ma'am. Just out of courtesy and being polite.
The biggest thing here in the United States was probably up until about the late 80s, early 90s, religion was pretty much law.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it was cut and dry. Like the 10 Commandments of the Bible, those were the rules. It didn't matter what the government told you what not to do.
Yeah.
These were your rules. And right around somewhere the late 80s, early 90s, perception started to wave, especially in the Catholic Church. I'm from the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
And growing up, you were not gay.
Yeah.
Like there's no question. Growing up in the Catholic Church, you're not gay.
Yeah.
No question. No maybes, no possibly, no, I want to go this way. No.
But the funny thing is, though, is amongst Jews and the Catholic had the highest volume of gay people.
Well, they didn't admit they were gay. They were just people that slept with men. They were men sleeping with men. It wasn't gay then.
But that's the thing. That honestly doesn't really matter, because, like, if you look, like I'm also going to go on the defense for religion, because religion is under attack right now, and religion has its right to be here. Like I don't like religion, but I'm not going to say make religion evil. No, because religion is a right. It's a way of life that people choose, so let them have it.
Mute yourself, Daryl. Thank you. Sorry. No. I mean, I'm with you on this, because growing up, like, even though I'm not a following Catholic now, I'm not a practicing Catholic. I got my reasons. I'm not against it. I'm just not. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid anymore. That's all I'm saying. But even now, if I look at like how I want to run my life, the 10 Commandments are a very good rule of thumb. Not necessarily have to be followed every single step of the way, but just in general, the 10 Commandments are a good rule of thumb to live your life. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill. You know what I mean? Like, just basic. These are somewhat basic rules that society already follows. It's just that in this religion, we push it as this is it. You know what I mean? You do any of these, you're done. You're confessing, you're praying, you're doing all this shit, But in general life, like, if you look at that 10 Commandment list, it's a great rule of thumb that involves respect for others. So it's like, I got my issues with religion. But
the other thing is, what happened to religion evolving? It stopped evolving because all through history, all religions have always evolved to that time and modified their book, rewritten their books to suit the times and the needs of those times. So that way it kept being fair, because if we stayed to the original Bible, most of us wouldn't be allowed to be Christians, because we weren't of the right race. We weren't of the right breed. We weren't of the right color. Like, and that goes for so many religions and stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely.
So they evolved for acceptance, because religion originally is supposed to be a good thing, a healthy thing that protects and saves people, but now it's used as a weapon.
And you look at places like historically in Europe, the Roman Catholic Church really did set law. You had kings and monarchs and rulers but they all pretty much followed the church.
but not of that. Like the other thing people forget, what is the number one killer throughout history? Religion, war. Almost every war is fought over religion.
Yep.
And like
People
Rail
will
here
die
saying,
over religion.
the United States is founded off of Christian values. Is it?
Yeah.
No, it's not. Because you got to remember how many Jewish people were also around at that time. North America is based off, was founded off escaping the tyranny of the churches, the tyranny of oppressors, the tyranny. It was founded off people that came to America seeking freedom from oppression of any source. It's founded off of general fundamental freedom, not religion.
Christianity only gets recognized as the first religion of this country because of how we converted so many so many Indians, excuse me.
Yeah. Forced the people against their will to follow a religion with the possibility of death if you did not follow.
Yes, but yes, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, it's very twisted and convoluted through the time to basically make sure that you just kind of follow along.
But that's the thing is religion at its core is healthy. Religion and faith and belief is a fundamentally good thing. It is good for your heart, it's good for your soul, it's good for society, it's good for people. But when you start using religion to control, manipulate, and overpower, that's when it becomes wrong. When you use religion the way that Jesus wanted you to use the religion, like that, if you use Jesus's rules, love one another, care for one another, support one another, protect one another, live with one another, then you're living the proper way. There were quite a few Jews in the founding fathers. You know, not all the founding fathers were Christians.
Correct.
There were also a couple atheists in there too. So.
Oh yeah, there were probably more atheists than there were Christians, to be honest with you. But
they just use they use some of the ethics of the Christian religion to found the laws and base the laws around, because some of those laws made rational sense and were accepted by the mass as a fair, just law.
Exactly.
And that's what, but they did not found it off of the fully off of Christian principles. They founded the United States off of being a place where anyone can come to escape tyranny. Tyranny.
It's
and
just
that means
that
from everyone. You got to remember the Irish. Why did the Irish come to America? To escape the Catholic Church. Why did the Dutch come to Canada? Why did everyone come to Canada? Come to the United States and Canada.
Really,
they came here to escape tyranny. And just because it says in God we trust, they do not. The word God is so round.
Figure out a good way to break away completely.
No, but that's the thing. It says in God we trust, but do they define which God? Do they define which God? No, because they could not define God. They don't say in the Christ God do we trust? In Allah do we trust? The God is all gods equally and impartially. We in God we trust. Everyone in one way or another believes in something beyond them. Even atheists believe in something beyond themselves. We just don't give it a name and we don't worship it, but we trust that there is something out there. So just because it says in God we trust doesn't mean, because you got to remember, Hebrews have the same God, Jews have the same God, Muslims have the same God, Hindu technically has the same God.
Technically,
their fundamentals and principles. And you got to remember, which religion out of those religions is the oldest one? The Hindu God is the oldest one.
Is it the Hindu or Muslim?
Hindu.
Okay.
Hindu is the oldest organized religion known to man. Before that, we had faiths like the Roman, like Vikings worshipped gods as a faith, but not as a religion.
Right.
And stuff
God
prior to like religion is a group organized within a church or a house or a cathedral.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is it's nowhere in the laws does it say the Christian God, the Christ God, or this or that. It's like, and nowhere in the laws does it actually say God.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, that's the only mention right there. That is the only mention of God. And there's no mention of there's no mention of forgiveness. There's no mention of, well, I mean, I guess in legal terms there's mention of forgiveness, but there's no mention of forgiveness. There's no mention of prayer. There's no mention of, confession. It's just like, yeah, it just drives me nuts how people
and the other reason where would our great nations be is if we founded our country off of just one religion, when every other country is trying to escape tyranny of religion.
Well, we'd be like
no one would want to come here. We're moving to another Christian nation where we're going to be told we can't have our faith, we can't have our religion, we can't have our this. So,
right.
And that's what makes our nation so great, is because we are diverse. We are truly, honestly diverse. We are here for the people, not for the God. We're not here for the government. We're not here. We're here for each other. We're here for the people.
And that's where we still have a problem within our government, because they want to make decisions based on their religion.
Yeah.
Instead of making their decisions based on what's good for the people. Because
that's right.
We all know this, when the people profit, the government profits.
Yep.
So why does the government want to make it harder for us to profit based on a belief that not everybody shares? Not everybody shares the same belief. We know this,
Yep.
I'm sure you and I probably differ on some things, but it's like, we would have to come to an agreement of what's best for us in a situation. And our government here doesn't do that. They worry about themselves. Our government's not a career job. Never has been. But guess what? You know how many career politicians we have?
Well, that's the thing is, at one point in time, people got into politics not to make money. They got into politics to make difference. A lot of politicians used to never even see a penny. They actually had to own stores and factories and work, and then do their politics stuff after.
Yeah.
But they did it because they wanted to do it. They wanted to make a change. They wanted to make our nation that was beautiful, wonderful, and great, and fair for all, open for all, and strong. They wanted to make a nation that was so strong that everyone in the world would turn around and go, wow, why can't we be like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's sad too, because we're not a superpower anymore like we say we are. That's been taken over by our friends over there in China. And we've let it happen. All of us countries, your country, our country, Europe, we've all let it happen. That's the crazy part about it. We let them do all the manufacturing. We let them come up with all the ideas. And it's like, wait a minute. We fucked ourselves, and now you want to take coal away too?
Well, see, that's the thing is, the United States, for some reason, turned into a democracy, even though they're originally a constitutional republic by the people for the people.
Because the democracy makes those people money. That's why.
And now that democracy, like Canada's always been a democracy, but the same thing that's happened in Canada now that's happening in the U.S., it's now becoming a dictatorship.
Oh yeah.
Now we're falling into the times where we are looking at the possibility, if things don't change, a tyrannical government. And that's where you guys have a constitution, and we have a charter that allows us to defend ourselves from that. So that's the one thing that we have to watch out for when our next elections come up, that we don't vote for the wrong person, and that we have to very consciously make sure that this person's actually out for our better interest, for our country's interest, not for self-interest. And like that's the thing that's Trump. I don't like Trump for a lot of reasons, but I will stand by him because he's so goddamn rich. He doesn't need politics to make him money. So he right now he's the logical choice. He will lay down he'll put his foot down and say what we need is this like he originally tried doing, but he got blackballed. Like he literally got blackballed, just like we did when we had John Turner. We had a wonderful prime minister that would have changed our country forever back in the 80s, but he got blackballed. And that's what happens when a good thing comes our ways. We all fall to the trap. And we get suckered into it by the opposing forces and fed lies that we believe without looking into it ourselves and seeing it for ourselves. We believe the media.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, it's funny because I remember my wife and I were out driving somewhere when the radio came on and Trump had announced his run for presidency. And that's when Hillary Clinton had a really big lead over everybody. And I just started laughing, like, because they'd already been talking about in the news, the possibility. And I'm just laughing as soon as it happens. And she looks at me and she's all mad. And she's like, what, you want him to win? I said, no, here's the thing. This is either going to be one of the greatest presidencies this country has ever seen because he's not for politics and he has money. He doesn't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever people say, he don't care. He's good. Or it's going to be the biggest circus we've ever seen in politics.
See, that's the thing. With Trump, he has businesses. He has corporations. Where does he gain? Where will he gain the most from? By bringing economy back to the companies, because his businesses are economies that are suffering because of the economy right now. So by bringing back economy and manufacturing back here, he's making his company great again. So
that's the key, though. It's not going to take a Trump to do it.
Nope.
It's going to take our government as a whole to sit there and say, you know what? We used to lead in all these things.
Yeah.
This country alone was, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful because I know you guys have a lot of your own things going on too.
We got too many things.
This country could have taken care of your country and Mexico all through trade.
Yeah.
We would have never had to involve another country overseas that lives their lives completely different than we do. I mean, we do live our lives completely different, but we all have the same roles in life. You know what I mean? So we could have used each other's resources to take the American continent and made it the biggest thing ever. Because all these other countries and continents, all they're doing is bickering and fighting over religion, over power, over money, over race. That's all they're doing over there. Africa is a great fucking hotspot for this. They've got everything going on.
Well, that's the thing, is we used to work together. That's the thing. Mexico, Canada, and US work together. We had massive amounts of oil, aluminum, ores, and minerals. You guys had infrastructure to turn that stuff into products. So we supplied the resources. You guys made the products. We didn't tax each other. We didn't fight each other. Mexico supplied a lot of manufacturing and a massive labor force.
Yes.
On that. Like Mexicans used to never want to leave Mexico because they had jobs down there at one time. They had good jobs at one time.
But to their credit, they still do. So that's not why there's too many Mexicans coming up from the border. We're dealing with the Southern American guys, El Salvador's. There's still Mexican people coming here, don't get me wrong, but the mass waves that they're talking about on the news are really coming from these countries that are horrible for their own people. Like, why aren't we going there and saying, what do you need? Oh, is it this guy that's in power that's a problem? Oh, we got you. We got the military to remove him. You pick your own guy that you want, and we'll keep an eye on you to make sure everything's cool.
See, like that's the thing. What we're doing wrong as a nation is we're making laws that pertain to social habit of life, religion, sexuality, gender, this stuff. Those rules and laws don't need to be made. They don't need to exist.
Nope.
We're focusing on those things when we should be focusing on our economy, our e-commerce, our global economy, our manufacturing power, our people working, our people being healthy, our people not being addicted to drugs, our nation being clean, our nation being strong and ready for whatever may come. But no, we're all fixated on these subjects that are just
don't matter.
Just a bone of contention. They don't really matter. Like,
they don't matter.
Honestly, like that's the thing is like okay, like the 10 commandments. Like here's a perfect example. Within religions, the 10 commandments. How many religions use those same 10 commandments? Almost every religion through history. Like even before those 10 commandment tablets came into existence 6,000 years ago, those 10 commandments were still practiced by older gods and older things. They were rewritten, reiterated back onto stone by this person called Moses, who was, what was Moses again? What was his religion, nationality?
I believe he was Jewish.
Yeah. but that's the thing. We have people fighting religion. We have people fighting against religion. We have people saying my way of life is the only way of life. No, your way of life is however you want to live your life, in your home, in your personal life, and out in public.
Yep.
Don't force opinions on other people. Keep it out of politics. Keep it out of schools. Keep it out of that. Keep it in home. Keep it in your house. Keep it in your church. Keep it in your association. Keep it in your club. And nothing else matters. We can deal with all that stuff after we have fixed the bigger picture. Because
I can clearly remember in like the 80s, we had the whole gay people coming out. We had AIDS coming out. We had interracial marriage coming out, as far as like, typical topics that people were like, whoa, hey, whoa. It's so funny how we've evolved through all of it, right? Gay marriage, normal.
Yeah.
AIDS, well, that's an illness that we're taking care of, just like cancer. No big deal, we evolved through all this shit, and here we are, 2023, and it's all a problem again.
Well, see, do you know what the problem was? Social media started bringing attention to these matters that didn't matter, because at one point in time, a gay couple, if a church didn't want to marry them, they just went somewhere else. They didn't force it. But now that we have, what's happened is our hatred towards these things has been brought out to such a broad spectrum that people are just doing this to spite the other person, because that's the name of the game right now. Oh, you don't want to let me do business here? Well, then you're a bad person. Yeah. Back in the good old days, you don't want to make my cake? Okay, fine, I understand. I'll get my cake made here. We didn't push, but now we're pushing. People are pushing on both sides of the fence. Religion and anti-religion, gay, whatever it is, they're all pushing back because they're getting tired of told that they can't.
Yes.
And having it shoved down their throat.
Yes.
Where if it was never shoved down their throat in the first place and made public on social media, all these issues wouldn't happen. You wouldn't have these people going, I have the right to be in this church whenever I want. No, because people just honestly, they don't want to be in that church because they know they're not wanted. They know that it's going to be uncomfortable. They're just doing it to make a point right now to show that you're being an ignorant bigot in a form. That's the only reason why they're doing it. That's why this is why this pronoun thing is coming along and stuff like that, because people want to. They're like, okay, well, you want to be special and have special laws and rules. Well, then I want special laws and rules. I want to be treated special, because you got one side that, well, we need to be treated this way and protected this way. And now the other side's going, well, that's not fair. So we need to have where if we never ever started even talking about this stuff,
it's the bleeding heart cause. The bleeding heart. That's all it is.
That's the thing is, we literally before we got locked in our houses and social media was the only way we could communicate with everyone, we were doing perfectly fine, and we were thinking about the right things. We were thinking about the things that were important and that, and we were worried about the things, like we were worried about the homeless guy on the street. Like, should we get him? Should we get him off the street? Should we get him into drug rehab? and the government wasn't and the government wasn't paying attention to that, so it wasn't a thought on. They would have just kept like putting the money into the proper place. But now that we brought attention to it, they're like, hey, we can make money off this. We can make this lucrative. It's like it's horrible. It's horrible. And that's the thing, is we are better than that. We are better than this as a whole. Every single human being in this nation, this great one single nation called North America, we are better than this. We deserve better than this. We are prouder than this. We are awesome people. We just don't really get it. Like, Chuck Norris got him. Oh, now he's gone. And ATV's gone. Everyone's gone. Now it's just me. Back to talking trucks. We're going back to talking about trucks. Trucks and diesel. Come on. So how about the Mets? No. I'm all alone. I don't know. Should I stay or should I go? No. All I can say is I pray for us as a nation. And I pray that diesel engines keep coming out and that we keep getting to run our goods and deliver our goods, driving good old diesel trucks and diesel engines. And I pray that we pray that we find a better form of making batteries. Well, ATV, it was nice seeing you. Nice seeing you guys. But I don't want to be here alone. It's scary. So I'm gonna say y'all have a good night. Keep on trucking. Keep on being cool. Oh, there's Robot. There he is. Now I'm not alone again. I was about to go. Thought no one was going to come back, abandon me.
Sorry about that.
I was going to try to convert it back to truck talk and happy talk and that. Because I know politics is a bone of contention for so many people. And social media is not really the best place to talk about politics, but sometimes we just have to express our views. Because it's our right. It's our right.
But then that's the thing, though. Now we go back to what we were talking about earlier with how the government should be of the people, by the people, for the people. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to take up Daryl's channel like this. I'm sorry, Daryl. Sorry, Delisa. But no, this is how the change will get done. This is how our change will happen. And when people keep, and I'm not saying they avoid it, but when people keep trying to avoid it because of arguments and disagreements and all that shit, I get it. I totally get it. But this is our new politics, if you will. This is the way our new government is. This is how we communicate now, is through social media.
Yeah.
And when we keep pushing away from it, like that, honestly, I feel that stalls the change.
But see, the big challenge.
My great grandfather was very heavy into the political party. He was a volunteer for the political party. He was heavily involved, and he was out and about all the time speaking on these things because that's the way it got done. Word of mouth was the way to do it. Our word of mouth for not necessarily my generation, but the generation below me is this way right here.
Yeah.
This is it for them. We didn't have this when I was growing up.
Yeah.
You know, you when you wanted to learn what the politicians were up to, you read the newspaper, or
like for me, when I'm on here, I don't ever want to come off of one-sided. I don't want to come off as arrogant. But like that's the thing is I can see certain truths, I can see certain flaws, and I can see where people like I said, I'm not anti-religion, I'm not anti this. Everyone has their rights, they all have that, but they have to remember everyone has these same rights and freedoms. And it's no place for any which person, doesn't matter what side they're on, to tell that person they cannot do what they're doing.
Right. Which is
all they can do is just say, I do not believe in what you believe in. Leave me and my family out of it. Leave
you. Yeah.
Like leave my government out of it. Leave my school out of it. Leave my children out of it. That's it. Simple. We all have to just learn to be better people and just be how we were 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, love each other. Just you're all beautiful, amazing people, and you're forgetting this. You're forgetting how amazing you are. Every single one of you. You're so much better than what than the world thinks you are. And right now we've got a whole entire world watching us, judging us, looking down on us right now. When they used to look up to us, they used to admire us, they used to respect us.
Yep.
Because we didn't play these games. We were powerful, united.
Yeah, but we used to have actual leaders in this country.
Yes.
Now we can't get actual leaders in this country anymore because of the politics that's involved, and there's no term limits. Once them people get up there, we can't get the bastards out.
And the other thing with politicians,
exactly,
realize you can't make everyone happy. Sometimes there are going to be butthurt people, but we all have to learn
people know that
for our freedom.
People know that. We the people already know that. It's them that are controlling the narrative of how things should be. Because Daryl and I are from two different parts of the country. We were raised two different ways, but there's similarities between us as adults that would say, this is right, this is wrong, this is what we need to do, this is what we got to do it, and we figure it out. We don't have to agree 100% on it. But if we can come to the middle and make sure that it works for everyone, or at least the majority, because that's what this really is, a majority. You know, when you come down to voting, it's always a majority.
And unfortunately, in a civilization and a proper world, freedom comes with sacrifice.
Yes.
Some of us have to sacrifice some stuff, and that goes for both sides to make freedom. If we want this country to be what it is, equal, free, liberated.
I thought that's why I paid taxes.
We all need to learn to just sacrifice certain things. We're not asking you to sacrifice everything, just small little things that don't really.
Guys, I ain't got nobody watching right now, so I'm gonna take it offline. If anybody is watching that's not showing up on the numbers, I appreciate everybody coming in, and I may be moving to Sunday night after Polaris Edge stream, but I'm trying to do what's best for my channel, and everybody. Like I said, if I do make the decision, then I won't be on next Friday, but y'all know what happened, and I will see y'all next week. And do y'all have anything y'all want to say?
Well, I apologize for bringing politics into ATV stream, because I don't think it was the appropriate place to do, but the conversation went that way.
Yeah.
But please keep following ATV. Don't like if you don't want the crazy Canadian on here talking, just let me know. But that's the thing, is we're here for ATV, and at the end of the day, he has control, so he can tell us to shut the hell up whenever he wants and change the subject, and we will do so. But because we love him and we want to keep following him, so just follow him and be good to him.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Walmart, do you have anything you need to add to that?
Hey man, if you go to Sundays, do your thing, man. It's all good. But Sundays I don't get off.
Well, how many times have you been in the back of a trailer at least listen to me? So I can't say a bad thing about it. So
hey, you're right.
Been with them for a long time.
You ain't wrong. I'm sure I'll still be listening. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, you all right. Well, everybody have a good night and have a good weekend, and hopefully a good week next week. But we will talk to you all later, and See and talk to you next week.